Between 1994 and 1996, I taught English in Japan, just north of Tokyo. I had students in classes that varied in age, 4, my youngest, called Yuki, to my oldest, a group of 3 women in their 70s. I'd traveled in Europe, but Japan was my first trip to Asia. I was really excited to be there and to see it, to hear it, to smell the smells and taste that different food. My students were excited to learn American English, especially the high school kids, and my older students. I got used to being appreciated. I did also get stared at a lot, and decided then that I'd make a really bad celebrity, but it came with being the only blonde person in every group of 1,000 or so. I really liked being there. I liked being a teacher. I liked that my students were excited to learn about my country and my language. One day, after I'd been in Japan for about 6 months, I hopped on a train to the city for a night out with friends in Ginza, a bright, beautiful shopping district. There were about 10 people in the train car that I jumped in, and one was an older man. He was sitting on a bench seat. He looked up at me, and a cloud just covered his face. He started yelling at me, which is so rare. I'd never seen it before in Japan. I was used to people being reserved and just plain quiet. At the next stop, he spit at my feet and got off the train. He wasn't calling me out because I looked different. He had a deep-seated hatred toward what I represented to him, whatever that was. He was angry at me, maybe because I was American, maybe because I was female, maybe because he had a really bad day and the train stopped for me. He told me to get out of his country. I hadn't been to Hiroshima yet at that point. But when I went, I thought about him the entire time, and actually wished he could have been with me. I didn't understand his story. I have no idea what it could have been, though he was old enough to have been involved in World War II. But I'm speculating on that. Maybe he had his job taken by a foreigner and didn't like anyone who wasn't Japanese. I really don't know. But it made me wonder, and still wonder, how can I come into each interaction as a teacher or writer or simply as a person from as open a standpoint as possible? Is that even a good goal? I think bringing myself to an interaction is what makes it an interaction at all. Is there a rule? Should there be?